In this lecture, we're going to be learning about parenting and child objects. This is a way of joining meshes while keeping them as separate objects. When a parent is manipulated, so is the child. When a child is manipulated, the parent is not. Let's see what this looks like in Blender. So, first thing we need to do is create a second object. So we're going to come across and we're going to create two cubes. So we're going to make one and we're going to bring this one over and we're going to create a second, just so we can see more clearly what's going on. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make this object, this cube, the larger cube, the parent object, and we're going to make these two objects children of this parent object. So we're going to select this cube first, shift right click the second cube, shift right click the larger cube, and then we're going to press Control and P. This gives us the set parent to option. We're going to choose the first one, which is Object, and left click. We've done that now, and we can see that these two objects are no longer in our scene. But if we press the plus button, we can see that they have joined with this cube. They have become children of this cube. How this works: if we select just the big cube in object mode and we manipulate it, so we press G, the two children cubes are linked to it. We can just see that there's a dotted line that links the objects together. The same applies for rotation and scale. If we grab the child object, we can see that we can manipulate this child object on its own. However, when we grab the parent object, the children are manipulated along with it. Also, if we go into edit mode, despite the fact that these two are children of the larger object, they cannot be manipulated. So these are still three separate objects in Blender, but two are just children of the one. This means that in object mode, whenever we manipulate the parent, the children are also manipulated. But in all other circumstances, whatever we do to the parent or the children does not affect the other. So we can grab a vertex and manipulate it, but obviously, unlike linked duplicates, it does not do anything to our children cubes. So there we go. To summarise, we have parents and children. I'm going to show you this one more time to see the process again. I'm going to reduce the size of this cube and move it over, create a second cube, reduce the size and move it over, create a third, just want to check something, yep, create a third cube, and there we go. So I'm going to move this one closer in. So we select the two smaller cubes first and the parent cube last. We create the parent-child relationship by pressing Control and P and selecting Object. Now, whenever we grab, rotate or scale the parent cube, the same applies to the children. And there we go, guys. That is how we parent and child objects. But there's one more thing. How do we separate children from their parents? Well, if we go back into Blender, we can do this by selecting our child object, or selecting our child object here, and if we grab the object here and move and if we drag it out, we've dragged it out, it's no longer a parent. Let me do that again with this object. So we're going to click, drag to the outside and release, and now they are no longer parents, or they are no longer children I should say, of the large cube. Thanks guys, hope to see you in the next lecture.